It's middle of December. First light down here at Rye boat ramp. Weather's beautiful. It's not a breath of wind. Just put the boat in. Gonna say if we can go and get onto some squid and whiting today. Come along and see what we can get. Morning and welcome back to the channel. We've just put the boat in here at Rye down on the Mornington Peninsula. Beautiful morning, pretty much first light as we speak. Just going to head out and try and get some calamari. Maybe after that might go for a gummy or some whiting, not really too sure yet. First up we're going to go and try and get some squid. It's just some shallow banks pretty much straight out from here, and all the way from here down to the heads there. The entrance out to the ocean, there's shallow banks, so we'll just hit some of them and see what we can come up with. But looks like we've got a cracking day weather-wise ahead of us. Let's hope the fish play the game. Anyway, let's get into it and we'll see if we can find some action for you. Woo! So we're out here now, out in the shallows. We're in 2.5 meters, just over some broken ground. This is just a big sandbar with bits of reef and more sort of weed and all sort of patchy stuff out here, which is where the squid live. So what we'll do now is go ahead and select our jigs. I'll probably fish one casting jig and then just 2 drifters out the back. Picked up a couple of these, don't even know what these are. Yesterday, Emeraldus Peak RV, picked up a couple of them. South Port Phillip Bay, I don't reckon you can beat orange and pink. And obviously the old trusty in the all white. That's a Rui jig, that one. I use these little clips you can get from most tackle shops. They just make it easier for swapping the jig colours. You can even hook little lures and stuff on, so they just work like that. They let the jig roll around nicely, give it a good free action. So fish one of them. So this one's an orange back with a multicoloured underside. That foil there, it's a white foil with some multicolour. I think that'll do quite well, cover a few different bases. Then on this other drifter I'll use this pink one. So it's a pink body with a sort of clearish purplish underfoil. So we've got got it covered. Alright, let's get these out. Because we're only in 2 meters here, I don't throw these ones out far because I'll just keep getting snagged, these drifters. So I only throw them a few meters out the back. As always, just check your drags. One can go in there. This is the orange one. One can go at that side. Oh. And now I'll cast this white one around, just an all white. Some people know it as the Shimano Cephia 14T, but there's all different models of it. I'll give this one a go. There you go, first cast. Not a big squid by the feels, but it's a squid. He's only tiny. I'm actually going to let him go. He's too small. I'd rather a little bit bigger. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but what you can see here, there's all grass beds across here, the light and dark patches. So what I do is I'll just try and get as far as I can across those beds. And then, oh, this one might have one on here. No. Try and get as far as I can across those beds. So I bring the jig back across the beds, the grass beds. That's how I usually have my best success. If you're fishing just on sand, you just won't get them. You just want that broken ground. Well, I think that's on one. Yeah, there's another one. That feels like a better one. Leave that one there. That's a little bit better, that one. That's on the orange jig, and there it is. Second squid of the morning, first keeper. I'll just put him in there until I sort out what I'm going to do with him and get these jigs straight back out. Good little tip is also, every now and then when you're fishing these drifters, just bring them in, make sure they've got no weed on them, and just toss them back out if they don't. And always keep an eye on your depth too, because now we're in nearly 3 meters. You can probably let them out just that little bit further, and as we fall off the side of this bank, we'll be able to let them out even further. So just bring them in, make sure they're all clear, and just toss them back out. There's another one on that orange drifter again. I just turned the camera off right as I was going to, I was just going to move the camera, and this one hit quite hard. But he's not a bad little squid. Well, tried to get me. There he is. On the orange one again. He can go in the bucket. As you may have seen on other videos, what I would usually do is as soon as I would get a squid, I would mark it. But we're over a series of marks that I've caught plenty of squid here over the years anyway, so I sort of know where we are. So I'm not going to bother with that just yet, but if I was in a new area, as soon as I'd hook a squid or any sort of fish, if we were drifting, I'd mark it straight away. It just gives you some sort of idea of where to start. Like, I don't just come out here and go, yep, this looks good. There's sort of always a bit of a method to the madness, you could say. There's one. So if you sort of just remember roughly where you got it, I can see it's in the middle of a big dark patch there. So as soon as I get him in, I'm going to lob this straight back out as close to where I thought he came from as possible, and he might have more mates with him. He's about the average size for Port Phillip Bay. So back on that dark patch. Whoop, that's the worst cast you'll ever see. Another good tip is sometimes rip the jig in and let it sit just off where you can see it. What'll happen is you'll sometimes see a squid dart up to it, but it won't actually take the jig. It'll just be looking at it, and at that time you can then jig it around or do whatever you want to do to entice the bite. But quite often, especially in this clear water in Port Phillip here, you'll see them dart in on the jig or even just on the floaters when it's really clear without any wind, and you can see it's clear as day. You'll see them come in, but they won't really commit to the bite. Whereas if you just sort of dangle it around a little bit out the back, you can often get them to go, or at least locate them. It's a good way to locate them, and then come back through with some different colours, or see if you can get them another way. We're actually coming up to a mark I've got called Squid City, so let's hope it lives up to its name. Luca, if you're watching, you know about that one. That was many years ago we made that mark. I think it might have been the morning of the Melbourne Cup, and it was dark and raining, and I've never seen more squid in my life. Every cast we got one, hence the name. So I haven't got one for a while now, probably about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. So what I'll do, I'll go up, I'll loop around, and I'll come back onto that drift line that I did earlier and see if we can pick them up in the shallows again. So we've just come back up on the shallows now. Best way to explain this is, as we drift along this way towards the head to the run out tide, it falls away from about 2.5 into about 5 or 6 metres. So as we fell off that edge, we stopped getting any bites. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try again. Similar line, probably, I think we're maybe 20-30 metres that way, but similar line in this shallower water, 2.5 metres, 2.5-3 metres, and see if we can get them through here. And then if we can't get them through here, we'll worry about that when we get to it. Yeah, there's one. Just another little one, but they're all tasty. Get it straight back out where I got him. So now we've come back up onto this area here where there's a lot of broken ground. Back where we were a couple of minutes ago, it was pretty sandy with just the odd rock here and there, but now that I can clearly see there's patches everywhere, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark this area, because people don't actually know, the weed does move. It's not always in the same spot, but I'm going to mark this area. So that's now 426, so I know I've got a couple of squid around here. It's similar to where I was getting the squid a bit earlier, and I know there's good weed here, so I'll just smash this area for a little bit and see if I can get a few out of here. They're proving to be a bit harder work than I thought now. One thing is to note for me, I think tonight is the full moon, so a couple of nights either side of the full moon is pretty much a full moon. I believe that they, with all that moonlight, they feed throughout the night on all the mollusks and the crustaceans and the prawns and shrimp and whatever's around here. So I'm not convinced, or I've had many of instances around the full moon where I don't do too well during the day on the squid. I've never really fished during the night for squid. I might do it one time on the full moon just to see how it goes. But my theory is that quite often around the full moon during the day you don't do so well, and maybe that gives reason to why we got a few bites there just on first light. And now that the sun's come up, it's been up for nearly 2 hours now. It's an hour and a half. Maybe they've shut down a little. But we'll keep ticking along, see what we can come up with. The squids seem to have shut down a bit now up in these shallows. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to shoot out to an area just next to Mud Island, on the eastern side of Mud Island. I've got some good marks out there. I know there's plenty of weed out there, and we'll give that a go and see if we can come across them there. I think I've got 4 or 5 in the bin now, so I'm about halfway to my bag. And then the plan is, once I get that, hopefully if I can get that, I might even try and sit out for a gummy for a little bit in this beautiful weather and just relax. So let's dart across there now and see how we go. So we've just come out to the spot near Mud Island out here. It's a little bit deeper, the water's super clear, about 4.5 metres here, so we'll get these jigs out and see if we can find a patch. Yep. There's one out this side on the drop. So I'm just going to mark that. If I had another person with me, what I'd get them to do is lob a jig straight in behind this squid. Because as I said earlier, they'll usually have mates with them. But what I can try and do... Lost him. Alright, that was silly. I'll try again. So we're actually... there's a bank that comes up onto Mud Island. I can see all the weed along this edge. We're actually drifting up on the bank, not along it, which is not ideal. We'll probably just have to work our way in and out, go up until we hit the sand and come back down and start again. But it's nice to know we got a hook up. So let's see if we can get another one. There's another one. Now this one hooked a bit better. Yeah, a little bit better. There's a nice little squid. In the bucket. So we're up on the sand now. All that weed is past us. We're drifting this way. So what I'll do, I'll get these jigs in, reset the boat on a very similar drift to the last one. Considering we hooked 2, I think maybe 3 squid, I'll keep it as close as I can and see if I can get them on the next one. Yeah, there's one. Right near that mark where we got the one earlier. They're all about the same size today. That not big, but not tiny. He's just made a nice little mess of the boat, but that's okay. Get this back out. Put that up there. Give this a bit of a hit. Trick is with squid fishing, when you get ink on the boat like that, or that sort of ink, watery ink, just get it while it's wet. If you let it dry, it's impossible to get off. Yeah, there's another one. This one's got a little bit more pull to it. There we are. Nice little squid. He's probably the best of the day so far, actually. I think that'll be about 6 or 7 we've got so far. I'll do a count shortly. In Victoria, you're only allowed 10 per person, 10 per fishing license. So I don't want to keep any more than I'm allowed. Yeah, there's another one there. Similar spot to that last one. Goes to show if you get that jig straight back out into that same area, you're a good chance of a hookup. I'll mark that. And with the marking, it obviously only marks where the boat is. It doesn't mark where the fish is, where the squid is. But it just gives you a general idea next time you come back to where you got them. And because it marks the date and everything like that, it even marks the water temperature and the stage of the tide and everything. So it's a great tool to use. Nice. Another good size one. Hopefully it doesn't squirt his ink. Do that in the bucket. And get straight back out in that same spot again. See if we can get one more. What I do when I cast out the back of the boat, because it sort of pulls the jigs along, that's why you'll see actually what I usually do is have the drifters out the back, and I'm always casting in front of the boat because that's the direction of the drift. Whereas if you pull the lures along, or the squid jigs, they'll often sort of ride up a bit. Whereas if you cast in front of the boat, there's no slack on there's no tension on the line, so they sink at a natural rate. Whereas when I go at the back here, what I do, I'll give it a few rips, and then I'll always give it some slack line, and that allows it to have a rip and then sink down naturally. And I've found often when you tighten up on the back of that sink is when you'll get the squid. I'm also just watching that line. If that line just goes taut, well, I know there's something on it. It's either the bottom or a squid, and it's usually a squid. I used to be very gentle when I first started squid fishing. When I hooked them, it was always very gentle. Now, give them a bit of a rip, try and get them in that crown, and they don't usually come off. But you saw what happened earlier when I was lazy and it came off when I tried to lift it into the boat. So that doesn't always work. So just done a U-turn now, back out in the deep, and we're going to drift back up onto that bank again. I've just done a count. We've got 7 squid so far, so 3 to go for our bag. Oh, there's one. First cast on the new drift. As I said earlier, where there's one, there's more. Once you find them, just keep hitting it. That's only a real little one, that one. That's all right, it'll be tasty. He might even be turned into some whiting later, that one. There's one. Nice. Our 10th one. Let's try and get it in the bin. That'll complete our bag. Oh, that was a big inker. Feels like only a little one. Whoa. Not too bad. Nice little squid to complete our 10. That's going to wrap it up for today. Had a bit of a go at the gummies and the snapper after the squid there. No luck. Couldn't get onto them. Even tried for the whiting a little bit, and that didn't happen. But anyway, we had a good morning on the squid, as you'll see throughout the video. Lots of fun. Beautiful morning out here. I'm going to get this boat home, get it washed, get packed up, and relax for the rest of the weekend. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed what you watched. If you do enjoy it, please like and subscribe to my channel. That lets me know that people are watching and people want to see more videos, and I'll try and make more. But it's heading up to Christmas now. It's the 14th of December, so if I don't make anything before Christmas, Merry Christmas to all, and hope everyone has a safe break on the water. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.